Christy Arnett here for Card Player TV for another edition of the Poker Buzz. I've got Ben Sprengers on the phone today. He was on last night's World Series of Poker main event airing on ESPN on Day 2B. You might recognize him because he was the guy who was going after Phil Hellmuth. Hey, what's up, Ben?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good.
Well, first of all, you're no newbie. You've been around the poker block for a while, so can you tell me a little bit about yourself, what your poker experience has been?
Yeah, I started playing poker when I was a senior in high school, and I started out playing online, playing small sit-and-goes in tournaments, and over the last 6 years, I eventually progressed, and now I'm playing high-stakes cash games.
Okay, so you're mostly a cash game player rather than a tournament player?
Yeah, for the first 3 or 4 years, I was almost exclusively tournaments, and then I tried out cash games, and I had a lot of success and found that there was a lot more money and less stress in cash games.
Okay, and even though, you've been focusing on cash games, you still have over $500,000 in tournament winnings, which is something I don't know if a lot of viewers knew about that when they watched the show last night. Did you do anything special to watch yourself on TV?
Yeah, we just had a bunch of friends over the house. It was a pretty surreal experience, being my first time on TV.
What did you think when they told you that you were going to be at the feature table with Phil Hellmuth?
It was funny. I had a friend there, and we just kind of started jumping up and down, and I was just really excited. And I knew Phil would play a lot of hands, and it would make for good TV.
What had your experience been playing with Phil previous to this? Had you played with him at all?
No, I never played with him before.
Okay. Now, it seemed like you guys got to butting heads early on, right away, and maybe, that's due to some editing, but what was it really like? Did you guys butt heads right away? What was going on there?
No, that was pretty much what they showed was pretty much what it was like. There was even more going back and forth that they didn't even show on camera. It was pretty much, we just sat down, and from the first hand, it was just back and forth all night between me and Phil.
And why was that? Were you doing that on purpose? Was it your goal to kind of go after him?
No, it's just kind of my personality. Online, I'm known for talking a lot of trash. It just makes the game more fun for me. And at the end of the day, it's all in good fun. And when Phil starts up talking, it gets me going, and it just makes it more fun for me and everyone else at the table.
Now, tell me about the hand when you had 6-5. For those who don't know, can you tell me a little bit about how that hand went?
Yeah, I knew it was the very first hand of the feature table, and I knew that Phil was probably going to raise whatever he had and try and take control of the table. So he was first to act. But I knew that didn't really mean anything to him, and I was going to try and re-raise whatever I had, because he didn't really have that many chips. I came in as a chip leader, and I think he only had about 25,000 chips to start. And I knew that he would not want to go out the very first hand of the feature table, so I thought it was a good opportunity to try and get some chips off him.
So you decided to re-raise him there with 6-5 off, not really playing your hand, just knowing that you'd be in position for the rest of the hand?
Yeah, pretty much playing the situation between knowing that Phil was probably raising any hand and that he was on a short stack and probably wasn't going to go all in easily the very first hand.
Well, what did you think then when he did go all in?
When he did go, well, I was overjoyed because I had flopped 2 pair.
Right.
To be honest, when he flipped over the hand, I was hoping to see something different because I'm dominating a lot of hands that he goes all in there on the flop. And his hand was actually, I think it was actually a favorite over my hand on the flop.
So after that, was it kind of your goal to maybe get some of those chips back off of Phil?
Oh yeah, definitely. And the way he was playing, he was raising a lot of mediocre hands that normally you wouldn't raise, and playing a lot of hands. So I knew having position on him, I had the opportunity to play big pots with him in position, and he was clearly going to put his chips in with mediocre hands just to try and win a big pot off me. And I thought being in a position that gave me a really big advantage. Had
he not hit so many hands, do you think that he would have accrued so many chips playing that style that he did?
It's really tough to say. I think it was actually working really well. A lot of the other players at the table were very scared and folding to him a lot. So I think he still could have chipped up. It wouldn't have been as fast, but I think he still would have been successful.
Would you say that he was the best player at the table?
Besides myself, yes.
If he's the best player at the table, why would you want to get in so many hands with him? I mean, I understand he's playing a lot of hands in your position, but is it ever a good thing to try and, butt heads with the other best player at the table?
No, to be honest, not really, because he's the person that I can win the most chips off of. I personally think my cash game experience playing against some of the best players in the world the past couple of years has made me a better player than a lot of these tournament players. So the fact that, combine that with the fact that Phil was playing a lot of hands and would put chips in the pot in mediocre spots, that I think gave me the best chance to win a lot more chips. Pretty much everyone else at the table was just folding because they were scared of the aggression.
Right.
In that spot you can pick up a lot of small pots, but when you're trying to win a tournament, you want to win big pots. And Phil was the only one that was really willing to play the big pots with me.
Right. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about your demise. You got a little unlucky, and then you lost a race. So, what was going on there? And was it hard for you to watch that on TV?
You know what? No, it was all in good fun. I mean, when I lose and when I get bad beat, I really don't take it as hard as a lot of players. Like, I just kind of have the attitude that I'm lucky to be there, and I'm lucky to be a poker player and be a professional poker player. And the bad beats happen, and it's a part of poker. And if I didn't lose every once in a while, and then the bad players wouldn't come back. So we need those bad beats. We need the bad luck in poker for it to keep going.
Absolutely. Well, you're a young guy. You've obviously got a ton of success so far. Where can we see you next? Are you gonna go to any tournaments in the near future?
I really don't plan to go to that many tournaments.
Just gonna grind the cash games?
I may go to the World Series of Europe, but for the most part, I'm just trying to have fun and travel the next year and just play a lot online.
All right. Well, good luck with that, and thank you so much. It was great talking to you, Ben.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Christy Arnett with Ben Sprengers for Card Player TV.